So we'll start with a simple one, stock exchange. So stock exchange gives you +1 bucks, so the green resource, from every consumer resource, which should be the green cards in the deck. So let me try to find what like. So let's say I occupied Cinema. Instead of producing 2 bucks, it would produce 3 if I had stock exchange. And it gives you +1 all your factories. So at the start of the game, you only have one factory. And then eventually it flips to electronic banking. So it's at a fairly low tech level. And at tech level 11, you can flip it to electronic banking. And it does the same thing, except it gives you an additional 5 bucks every turn. So very solid way for any strategy just to make a few more bucks. It's good if you're going to take a lot of territory because it's going to give you a bonus to your green cards. And it's good if you're going to take regional industrialization, our next economics card, because it'll give a bonus to your factories as well. So regional industrialization, it's at tech level 10, costs 20 bucks, so fairly expensive. It allows you to put down 2 new factories onto your territory. And it makes your factories produce 5. So this is going to eat up a lot of oil because now you're going to be consuming 3 oil a turn. But without any additional upgrades, regional industrialization will allow you to get free 15 bucks a turn compared to your 4. With stock exchange, you put that up to 18, so it gives you a lot of money really quick. So our next card will be spectromic imaging. So spectromic imaging is at a very early tech level, at tech level 3. And it costs $3 to deploy, and then you keep it out for the rest of the game. And what it allows you to do is whenever you search, you can just pay 4 bucks and choose the first resource. You declare what you're searching for, and you just get the first metal. Or let's say you're searching for metal, and it only costs 4 bucks to get the first metal. So this allows you to search a lot easier and really cuts down the cost in searching. So you'll never be paying 8, 9 bucks for a really unlucky search. And the nice thing is, let's say a lot of people take metal out of the deck and you still want metal, it's still only 4 bucks. So very good. Next card is Reaganomics. This is a meme card. So at tech level 13, fairly high, you could pay 8. So it's a return card. We'll get into that. But what it does is it puts the target player 10 bucks in debt, or doubles the interest rates for all players until your next turn. And you can do both for an additional 6 bucks. So it would be 14 bucks in total. So how return cards work is you play them, they go into your play area. Next turn you pick it up and put it in your hand, but you can't play it the next turn. You can play it the turn after. So you can play this card every other turn. A little note about additive effects here. So when you double interest rates for all players, if somebody else also has that effect out, what it does is it goes to the triple rate and then the quadruple rate. So this card stacks additively and not multiplicatively. So it's not like you double, then have quadruple, and then another guy does it, and it's times 8 interest rates. It doesn't go that crazy. Okay. So the next card is free trade agreement. Oh, another thing about stock exchange, I missed this. So each time you convert resources, you get an additional buck. So always good if you're converting. So free trade agreements. So this is Democracy's unique card. So it says tech level 7, but because Democracy has a bonus where they can deploy economic cards at tech level earlier, they can deploy it at tech level 6. So it allows you, so its main use is convert 4 petro and 4 metal for 12 bucks compared to the 2 and 2 for 4. You convert 4 and 4 for 12. So it's like a mega conversion that makes you want to gather a lot of those resources and turn them into cash. Now to help you out, you can also do trade agreements with other players where you just propose a given resource trade. So you can say, I'll give you 5 bucks for 5 metal or 3 bucks for 2 oil or something, as long as resources are being traded for resources. So the logic of this card is, let's say you're a democracy and you have a lot of oil. You can trade with other players for their metal and then use that spare metal with your oil and produce a whole bunch of bucks using the conversion method. The next tech card is Research Center, only for technocracy. So it's at tech level 12, so fairly high up there. It costs 18, so fairly expensive. And it gives you 1 free tech level turn. So this is really good in conjunction with Saturn rockets and trying to nuke everyone. It's also the most efficient way. It allows you to tech up 3 times a turn to get to that tech level 25 bonus, which gives you +1 to all your rolls. So next we're going to get into the spy cards. So our first spy card is Spy Network. So it gives you +1 all your spy rolls and -1 against spy rolls against you, and allows you to resource reveal once a turn. So what resource reveal does is allows you to look into your opponent's hand, his resource cards that he hasn't flipped over, and you effectively get to see one of the cards at random, and if you can also go to that resource area and flip it over for yourself. So let's say let's say blue has Bicknelly, which is here, and red resource reveals him. So blue's never going to go there. This is too far for him. But red resource reveals it. He gets to see that he has Bicknelly. So then red can put an army in Bicknelly, and then red can claim it for himself. So that's the effect. So this also flips to Advanced Spy Network at tech level 14. So Advanced Spy Network gives you +2 to spy attack rolls and -2 to spy attack rolls against you. Resource reveal still on there, and also it reduces whenever you tech up, it's 1 cheaper. So how Spy Network mainly works is its requirement for other spy cards, and Advanced Spy Network is the same. Its requirement for some other spy cards. So spy cards, instead of having a fixed tech level requirement, they require this card to be out. So our first spy card we're going to talk about is Espionage. So Espionage allows you to copy 1 weapons card from your target's opponent's deployed weapons cards and put a copy of it into your hand. And also, each time you do it, you get an additional -1 based on how many times you do it. It's a return card, so it works like Reaganomics. So you play it, then not the next turn you can use it, but the turn after. So how this would work is, let's say my opponent has T-34 tanks. I pay 7, use Espionage on him. I'd have to roll for it. My first roll is guaranteed because the Spy Network gives me +1, but we'll go into the roll system later. And then I'd get a copy. I'd make a copy of T-34s for myself and put in my hand. I don't get to play it for free. I can play it that turn if I have the $12 and I want to pay it. So let's say my opponent also has Manhattan Projects, and let's say I espionage his T-34s earlier. So how the -1 would work is, now I'd have to roll to steal Manhattan Project, and on a 1 I would fail. Okay, so the next card is Sabotage. So the Sabotage is kind of like Reaganomics, but it requires Spy Network, not Advanced Spy Network, despite what the card says. So how this card works is you can do multiple things. You can reduce the target's tech level by 2, unless he's a technocracy. You can reduce target opponent's oil production by 5 next turn, so you can cripple his oil production. Or you can blow up a nuke, or the target player will lose a nuke, and on the roll of an 8, which is only possible with Advanced Spy Network, it blows up in one of his home sectors. You can also do 2 effects by paying an additional $6, so you can pay double the cost and do 2 of the effects. And so what this is good is screwing up an opponent and trying to cripple his technology or his oil production, or potentially both. If your opponent doesn't have a lot of oil and you invade him, you can use this, and then he can't counterattack you because he won't have the oil to counterattack you. It's a return card, so you can only play every other turn. So next, that's Espionage. So Spy Network. Spy Network's an odd card. It doesn't require, not Spy Network, Propaganda. It doesn't require a Spy Network, so anyone can play this without Spy Network. But it does require a roll of a 2+ to go off if you don't have Spy Network. And it forces a non-democracy to surrender if they're $25 or more in debt, which is pretty easy. Or it forces a non-communist to surrender if 2 or more of their home territories are nuked or occupied. So this is basically a way to get people out of the game. It's a pretty good win condition. Our last card is Bill Gates. So this actually requires Advanced Spy Network. It costs 10. It works a lot like Espionage, but you get to look into somebody's hand and steal any card you want. And it's unique to communism. So this basically allows you to look into either their hand or their deployed tech pile. So let's say there's a democracy and he has regional industrialization, but he hasn't played it yet. You can use Bill Gates and steal regional industrialization, and play it for yourself. So another thing that's important to note about stealing tech cards is you can't steal another faction's unique tech card and play it for yourself. So an example of that is a communist cannot steal a fascist Centurion tanks, if we can find that, and play it for themselves, because to play it requires you to be a fascist. So that's all for the tech cards. Have a good day.